Going to bring the wheelchair out. Obviously, the face of this organization created so much excitement in Memphis.
Memphis Grizzlies, from contenders to chaos. There was a time not so long ago when the Memphis Grizzlies were the future of the NBA. Young, bold, and unafraid to challenge the league's giants. They had a star in Ja Morant, a once-in-a-generation athlete who soared above defenders like gravity was just a word he learned in science class that in no way mattered to him. Back-to-back second-place finishes in the Western Conference in 2022 and 23 seemed to confirm it. Memphis wasn't just a fun young team, they were a rising power. But that image shattered faster than anyone could have imagined. Today, the Grizzlies stand as an example of how quickly promise can turn into quiet chaos, where help doesn't look to arrive anytime soon. Ja Morant, the face of the franchise, has become its biggest problem. Injuries have plagued him, but those aren't even the most troubling part. A series of off-court and on-court incidents, some shockingly reckless and all completely avoidable, have transformed the electric superstar into a liability. Gun incidents, social media meltdowns, and bizarre behavior have painted a picture of a player as immature as he is talented. And on the court, his high-flying style now feels like a ticking time bomb, one bad landing away from another long-term injury. But the Grizzlies' trouble aren't just about Ja. The supporting cast has faltered. Jaren Jackson Jr., despite his Defensive Player of the Year award, struggles to dominate offensively. He's a stretch big who can shoot but lacks a reliable postgame and doesn't create for himself. Dillon Brooks, once the team's emotional spark, was let go after his brash attitude outlived its welcome. His departure didn't just cost Memphis a player, it robbed them of their competitive edge and their identity. And for a team that once prided itself on being young, loud, and fearless, the confidence that once defined them now feels like empty bravado. Their playoff runs ended in disappointment, a first-round loss to the Lakers, missing the playoffs altogether, followed by a humiliating first-round sweep in 2025. They are stuck in the worst place for an NBA franchise, too good to rebuild, too flawed to contend. With no superstar stability, no clear leadership, and no clear path forward, the Grizzlies are staring at the abyss. Memphis once thought it was the next great team. Instead, they're now a franchise without a future, watching helplessly as the bottom falls out. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. The Memphis Grizzlies weren't always defined by flash. Their identity was once grit and grind, a bruising defense-first team led by Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, and Tony Allen. A blue-collar squad that made the playoffs 7 straight seasons from 2011 to 2017, even reaching the Western Conference Finals in 2013. But by 2019, that era ended. The Grizzlies bottomed out, looking for a new identity. Their salvation came in the form of Ja Morant, the second overall pick in the 2019 NBA Draft. A high-flying, fearless point guard out of Murray State, Morant won Rookie of the Year in 2020, electrifying the league. The Grizzlies built around him, adding young talents like Jaren Jackson Jr., and quickly rose from a rebuilding team to a contender. By 2022, they were second in the Western Conference, a young team on the rise until the fall began. Stunt number 1, Ja Morant's self-destruction. The Memphis Grizzlies' rapid rise was driven by the electric talent of Ja Morant, but that same talent has become their biggest problem. Ja wasn't just a promising young star, he was a phenomenon. His high-flying dunks, drives, and undeniable swagger made him one of the NBA's most exciting players. But as his fame grew, so did his troubles. Injuries were always a concern with his aggressive aerial play style, but what no one expected was how much of his off-court behavior would become an even bigger threat. It started small, social media antics, immature comments, and an attitude that seemed to flirt with arrogance. But as the Grizzlies climbed the standings, so did Morant's sense of invincibility. In 2023, he found himself at the center of multiple controversies, each one more damaging than the last. Videos surfaced of him brandishing a gun in a nightclub, and another incident even led him to court. As these stories piled up, the narrative around Morant shifted from a young star to a reckless liability. His on-court play, once a symbol of hope, also became a source of anxiety. Every time he took off for one of his signature highlight dunks, fans held their breath. Would he come down awkwardly and suffer another injury? The player who was supposed to be the franchise's savior now felt like a ticking time bomb, both on and off the court. But it wasn't just about his own mistakes. Morant's behavior set the tone for the entire team. The Grizzlies, once a promising young squad, became known for their trash talk and antics, a reflection of their star players' lack of maturity. Teams that once were intimidated by their swagger began to view them as all talk and no discipline. Memphis went from being the NBA's rising star to the league's loudest punchline. Ja Morant was supposed to lead Memphis to greatness. Instead, his lack of maturity, constant distractions, and unreliable availability have dragged the Grizzlies down. His talent is undeniable, but talent without leadership is just empty potential. For the Grizzlies, their star might be their biggest issue. Stunt number 2, the loss of identity. For a brief moment, the Memphis Grizzlies were the NBA's loudest underdogs, a young, brash team that played with an edge and embraced a villain role. Their confidence was personified by Dillon Brooks, a player who wasn't afraid to guard the league's best, trash talk, and stir controversy. Brooks wasn't their most talented player, but he was their emotional engine, setting the tone for a team that believed it could fight anyone. But there's a thin line between confidence and chaos, and the Grizzlies crossed it. Brooks' antics, calling the Golden State Warriors old, taunting LeBron as old in 2023, became more memorable than his play. His trash talk painted a target on Memphis, making them a team opponents love to humble. And when his inefficient offense became a problem, the Grizzlies let him walk in the 2023 offseason. Yet, losing Brooks was more than just parting ways with a loud personality. It was the start of an identity crisis. The Grizzlies went from being a team defined by their swagger to one without direction. Jaren Jackson Jr., despite his play on defense, lacked the vocal leadership to rally the team. Desmond Bane is a talented shooter but not an enforcer. And Ja Morant, whose off-court issues spiraled, became a distraction instead of a leader. Without Dillon Brooks' reckless energy, Memphis lost its edge, and it seems the Houston Rockets gained it. The Grizzlies became a team searching for an identity they once wore proudly. Their trash talk is no longer intimidating, it's just noise. And without a clear leader, they became a collection of young talent with no sense of who they are. Memphis lost more than a player in Brooks. They lost the fire that once made them dangerous. Stunt number 3, stuck between rebuilding and contending. One of the worst places for an NBA franchise to be is too talented to rebuild but too flawed to seriously contend. This is where the Memphis Grizzlies now find themselves. After their breakout seasons in 2022 and 23, they were seen as a team on the rise. But beneath the surface, their foundation was already beginning to crack. And as the losses piled up, so did the questions about their future. The problem starts with their roster. Ja Morant, once seen as a franchise savior, has become a constant headache, an explosive talent with a fragile body and a volatile off-court life. Jaren Jackson Jr., while all league on defense, is limited offensively, struggling to create his own shot or dominate in the post. Desmond Bane is cool, but not a star who can carry a team, and their supporting cast, once young and hungry, now looks disjointed. But the Grizzlies can't rebuild because they aren't bad enough. Even with their issues, they win too many games to land a high lottery pick, and at the same time, they aren't good enough to seriously contend for a title. Their best seasons saw them reach the second round of the playoffs before being exposed by more experienced teams. Their bravado masked a lack of true star power and leadership. Even worse, Memphis is not a destination for star free agents, meaning the Grizzlies can't simply buy their way out of mediocrity. They must rebuild through the draft and player development, yet their recent picks have failed to transform the team. Their talent is young, but their window is closing faster than expected. The Memphis Grizzlies aren't rebuilding, they aren't contending, they're stuck, treading water in the cruelest place an NBA franchise can be, and without a clear path to escape. All in all, the Memphis Grizzlies were supposed to be the next great team. A fearless, young squad led by Ja Morant destined to take over the NBA. But in just a few short years, they've become a frustrating tale of wasted potential. Their star is plagued by immaturity and injury. Their once brash identity has crumbled, and they are stuck in the NBA's worst place, too good to rebuild, too flawed to contend. The Grizzlies are no longer the future. They're a franchise lost in the present. Unless they find leadership, discipline, and a true direction, they may become yet another team that never lived up to the hype. Salute, but for these reasons, the Grizzlies' growth is being stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.